Welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you came and you stayed. We have a little bit of technical difficulties, but we've decided just to tell our stories, and I think you'll get the picture that way. I'd like you to turn in the hymnal to number 8. We are gathered here. Our song is "We Gather Together to Ask the Lord's Blessing," and that's really a motto of I Serve. When we meet week from week, that's what we do. We gather together and we ask the Lord's blessing, and that's what we want to do tonight. We gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. He chastens and hastens our will to make known. The wicked oppressing now cease from distressing. Sing praises to his name. He forgets not his own. Beside us to guide us, our God with us joining, ordaining, maintaining his kingdom divine. So from the beginning, the fight we were winning. Thou, Lord, was at our side. All glory be thine. We all do extol thee, thou leader triumphant, and pray that thou still our defender wilt be. Let thy congregation escape tribulation. Thy name be ever praised. O Lord, make us free. Are you ready now?
We want to welcome you to our I Serve Vespers program this evening. And you can see that the devil is not wanting it to be told, but we will tell it anyway. And we know that you will be blessed, and we hope that you'll be inspired to reach out to someone in your community. Now that things are opening up more, we invite you to come and join us on Tuesday mornings in the I Serve room. We're going to share with you the things that are happening among the refugees in our community and tell you about some of the projects that have been ongoing, even during this time of COVID. The focus and aim of I Serve has always been to be the hands and feet of Jesus, doing what he would have us to do as his representatives. Here are some of the scriptures that have guided us, and I've taken it from the Clear Word Bible. Deuteronomy 10:18. He, God, is on the side of the widows and orphans and longs to have foreigners come and live with his people. He provides them with food and clothing and wants to use you as instruments to help them. Leviticus 19:33 and 34. Do not mistreat foreigners who live in your land. Treat them as you do your own. Love them as you love yourself. You too were once foreigners in a strange land and know what it was like to be mistreated. I am the Lord your God. Let's just bow our heads for prayer. God, we are so grateful that you trust us to do things for you with your help. Help us to treat others as you would want them to be treated. And our hearts go out to those in Ukraine and Russia and other places in the world where persecution is. We know that we too may be persecuted in the near future, but we have nothing to fear. when we have our lives hid in you. So we give this meeting this evening into your hands. May your Spirit be here to attend, I pray, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Well, I'm very disappointed because our whole program was based on the slides and the pictures. Pictures tell 1,000 words, and we don't have those 1,000 words now. So we'll try to piece together and share with you a few things that come to mind. We'll follow our script. You'll have to excuse us if we kind of refer to our notes, but maybe another time, Twyla, because the pictures are nice, and they really do show what our work with refugees especially is all about. Well, I've asked some of the ladies to briefly share some of the things that they do at iServe. So Joan, why don't you start? Believe it or not, even during COVID, when most activities, most programs have been shut, are not operating, in iServe, we've still been able to carry on with some of our duties, or some of our projects. And Bags of Love is one of those things. Joan, come on up, okay?
Now and then we get notes from the social workers, and I'm going to read you a few. Now tell them about the Bags of Love. Okay. Jennifer is a social worker, and she said, I had an experience yesterday that I wanted to share with you. Yesterday, we dealt with a family of 3 little boys who have had to leave their home due to a significant infestation of bed bugs. These little guys had to leave everything behind and literally had the clothes on their bodies. They were quite tearful and distraught, even more so by the idea that they now had to go to a foster home. Each child was given a bag of love as we waited for their foster parent to arrive. And I wish you could have seen the excitement and happiness on their faces as they went through the bags and pulled out item after item. Within seconds, the tears had stopped as their little arms hugged teddy bears and they looked at new items that became their only possessions. A support person whom the boys were familiar with read them the note from the front pouch of the bag, and she had to stop midway as she was overcome with emotion from the kind words and the wishes written on it. Everything from the toys to the toiletries were accepted with pure gratitude and happiness. It was amazing to see how this small bag made such a huge impact on 3 little ones. I wanted you to know about the experience and to thank you again for providing these gifts for our kids. I hope you realize how much of a difference your commitment to this project makes in the lives of little ones who in many cases have lost everything. Another social worker, whose name is Elizabeth, wrote about various people that she had given bags to. She says, I have given out bags to the following. An 11-year-old boy whose mother suffered dementia and could no longer care for him. He was a very angry child who lost his childhood caring for his mother. He was thrilled with his bag of love and keeps his stuffy on his bed and uses his blanket to watch TV or play video games. A 15-year-old profoundly challenged young girl who was ecstatic to receive it. She is doing well in care and thriving. We greatly appreciate the gift for this young girl. 5 and 7-year-old girls whose mother and father are both drug addicted with a father in jail. Their future is uncertain as their parents have not been able to get away from their addiction. It felt wonderful to be able to give them such a thoughtful gift, so they knew they were thought of and not forgotten by everyone. An 18-month-old child with spinal fracture to his leg, spiral fracture, non-accidental. RCMP continued to investigate. He has his bag of love and is a wonderfully active child who hopefully will not remember what happened when his leg was broken. He greatly enjoyed his bag of love, and his mother uses the blanket on the stroller during their visits. The mother is not suspected, but her boyfriend is. This child needs to feel safe and loved. And so when we put those bags of love together, we put a lot of love into them. They are really, really quite nice.
Can you tell us what's in those bags of love?
Yes, we start with a quilt. They're homemade by Claire and her group. And then we put in 2 toys. We put in 2 books. Sometimes we put in crayons. And we put in toiletries like toothbrush, toothpaste, comb, soap, and things like that. They love them. The kids love them. They hold them to their heart because they're theirs, you know, and they don't have them at home. And then we put in a small teddy bear and a large teddy bear. Am I missing anything, Donna? Oh, yeah, and socks. And in the winter, we put in gloves and toques and whatever we have around, what people give us. And yes.
Would that be one of those bigger bags there?
Yes. Oh, did we bring any up here? Oh, we should have brought one. But anyway.
You know, when you think of these things that are going into the bag, they all cost money. We don't put anything in that's shabby. It has to be new or almost new. So I'm going to say, for the most part, everything is brand new. And we figured out once, this is just for our information here, of course, we figured out that each bag costs about $30. So they're not cheap. And when the workers, you know, request bags, they've actually been picking them up. We prepare them and we have them standing ready and they pick them up. But yeah, they're brand new and it's very, very comforting, as you can see, to a child who has been suffering from abuse or neglect, whatever. So it's a beautiful ministry. Marjorie, come on up because yours is somewhat related. Just tell us what you do for iServe. Even during COVID, remember, these are things that are going on during COVID.
I was reminded on my way here that Jesus said in Matthew 25:40, "Assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me." And that kind of is our motto, why we do what we do. I am associated with 2 things, actually. Perhaps I should mention that we make little bags for babies, brand new babies in the hospital. And we haven't been able to take them in because the hospital's been shut down. But we'll be starting, I think, April 1. April 1, we'll be having a whole new bunch of bags there. They're called Bundles of Joy. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, got it right. It's been a while since we've taken those. But the social worker at Kelowna General Hospital, her name is Laura White, and I worked with her when I was teaching nursing, and now we get to work in this capacity. She's writing to pass along some feedback with regard to the Bundles of Joy program from the maternity ward at KGH. It has been such a welcome addition to the care we are able to provide to new moms. There are so many new parents that lack a comfortable income, family to fall back on for support, and or going through a stressful time in their life when baby comes. It is these moms that I try and give the bundles to for their baby. Each time I give out a bundle, I am greeted with smiles and at times tears of happiness. The new parent is almost always touched truly touched by the gift and immediately takes the time to open the bag and go through the items one by one, just like the children. I hear, "Oh, this is so cute," or "Look at this onesie," or "Who is this from?" All things like that. The soother often gets used almost right away. I have noticed myself that the volunteers behind the bags that do the shopping and sewing to show great taste and seem to have an eye for particularly cute designs and motifs. So that's this group here. And people in the community that show up at the I Serve door on Tuesdays with beautiful things for us. And we just are the conduit to give it to the moms that need it. This is truly a quality bundle, and I am so proud to be able to distribute them. Thank you for such a wonderful project and products, and I hope we can keep the relationship going and are able to connect your good works to new parents in need well into the future. So it's wonderful to be able to do that. Now, there's another thing that I Serve is involved with, and the Rutland Church, and that is Kelowna's Assistance for Postpartum Depression, CAPD. I have to say that Thelma Davis, we all remember Thelma Davis, leader of the Rutland Church Community Services, was instrumental in advocating and facilitating the need to do something for new mothers who were desperate for some support and or assistance with their after-birth experience. A member of our congregation was attending Okanagan University College, and I was teaching there. And this is about 22 years ago. It's a long time now, but she did a project for her studies, and it was to provide assistance to moms. This is an adaptation of the brochure that she had. These were put in all the doctor's offices and public health offices. And so they had a support group. Now it's kind of morphed into something different. With COVID, it was Zoom and is still Zoom. It's not so much a support group, it's more individual one-on-one counseling almost now. But it still meets the need. And the profile of women who come to my attention through Kim, our secretary, so the Rutland Church is involved that way because public health phones that number, and then she contacts me. And the profile of the women is usually they're new mothers. They don't have other children, this one. And they are greatly influenced by the media and our culture, our societal norms that portray that having a baby is just a glorious thing, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. And, it doesn't always happen that way, though. Sometimes pregnancy is really rough, and you're sick all the time. Or you have a great lack of sleep when baby comes home with you. And maybe the delivery was kind of tough. And so it doesn't quite match, and they're disappointed. And guess what happens when we're disappointed? We go down. As well, they might have just moved here. They don't have friends here. They don't have any support. Their family's far away. That's kind of tough. And they are fearful and anxious. Are they going to be able to be a mom? Are they going to be able to look after the little one? They are also exhausted, besides being lonely. And when you have to get up every hour, and some of these moms don't have a partner now, and it's really tough. And sleep deprivation really colors everything. So I meet with them for an hour. Usually it's Tuesdays, and I have many resources. I use a video, and that gives us talking things in common that we can talk about. And one of the things is that we have an emotional brain, and it's about like a 2-year-old. And that emotional brain, if we act on just that, the input into that part of our brain, the limbic system, we might do things we really don't want to. So then God has given us a leader brain as well that thinks. and says, oh no, that you better not do that. And so in this emotional brain, there's about 4 emotions that we have. One is that we're glad, and that's a good thing, right? But then the other 3s aren't so much. Like, for instance, it's where feelings of being mad, feelings of feeling bad, and feelings of, what's the other one? There's 4. Glad, mad, bad, sad. That's the bad one, right? And so I work with them to help them have tools, because if a mom is depressed, it's really hard for her to care for her child and to teach them. And it's wonderful to see the response that I get. I work with them for a few months, or it may be a year. Sometimes it's even longer than that. Once a week we meet, and with Zoom I've even been able to, we've been to California. I met with a girl from California for a number of months, but mostly it's in our area. I've worked with ones from Penticton. But here's something for you to think about. Lao Tzu said that if you are depressed, you are living in the past. So we try to work on things like that. If you are anxious, and many of these women are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are living at peace, if you are at peace, you are living in the present. And that's where we try to kind of center them, and so that they can move forward. And they really do. And I'm just so thankful for this church, because you have provided a legacy, really. This is a place where we can meet, and so they come to this church. I know public health, they mostly are the ones who give me referrals, but they really want me to go to a neutral place, not associated with a church. But it's really comfortable here, and it works, and the moms come. And I've only had 2 Adventist girls come, but it meets a need. And so thank you, church, for providing a space, for providing a secretary that gives me the referrals, and I don't have to have an answering machine dedicated to one at home. And also I serve, because you provide photocopying, so I prepare a booklet for everybody. And there's something else. Oh, yes, your prayers. Because when you pray, it makes a difference for how I'm received in what I'm presenting to them. And so I just thank you. I'm very grateful to God and to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Marjorie. Something that Marjorie didn't mention also when she was involved in the Bundles of Joy for the hospital, we also did up a personal care kit. And these were available for moms who had come in to the hospital, unprepared, or had come from out of town. And so a nice packet is made up for each of them, for moms who are in that kind of situation. And there are all kinds of personal care kits, a washcloth, soap, shampoo, whatever. It's really quite nice. And the moms who need it are very appreciative. So that's something else that Marjorie takes care of. When she delivers the bundles, she delivers these personal care kits as well. So that's nice. Claire, why don't you come up? You already see some of Claire's handiwork here. Claire has a team of ladies, 2 or 3 or 4 ladies, who help her in this very nice ministry, a very nice outreach. Tell us anything you want, Claire.
Well, we're back in the running. My team is Darlene and Marie and Carol and I, the 4 of us. And a lot of the quilts that we've made, we use our little leftover pieces, as you can see in this quilt. You can come up and look at these after. And we won't have to pick them up.
This one. This is one of my favorite. Isn't that nice? Can you imagine
They're
all
only
the
3
work?
inches wide, so these are just little leftover pieces, so we just try and do something with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will give us material with pictures on it that we can just border and make that as a whole. Or these little pictures, we've cut squares and made a little pattern to them. We have a lot of jeans, a lot of jean material to do things with, and we're trying to make different patterns every time. So this one worked out really well. We kind of like that one. And over the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months or so, nothing much has been happening down there, except there's a lot of people who one spouse or the other has either passed away or gone into a home, and the other spouse has emptied out their stuff. And so much has come downstairs there that we've had to sort through, all of us. And our room was full of bags and boxes of stuff. It took us, Darlene and I worked on that for about 2 weeks, and just to clean it up. But we've got most of it done now. But Marie's going to come down on Monday, and we're going to hit it. And Carol said she'd come back and finish the job that she had started last year. So that's about it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's good to be back in the saddle, let me tell you.
Remember, Claire fractured her upper cervical part of her vertebrae, so she was out of commission for some months. So anyways, in spite of that, she's back and she's active again. Something that has is an extension of this quilting ministry. The some of the social workers at the Ministry of Child and Family Development, they heard, I think through the Bags of Love, they heard that iServe makes quilts. So they approached us and they asked us, do you think you have any extra quilts that we could use to give to families who are in the process of adopting a child? This would be a nice gift to give them. And so they've come a couple of times, and we've loaded them up with quilts, beautiful quilts, as they all are, Claire, and they were so happy. I expect them to be coming back here again very soon. So that's nice as well. There was something else I was going to say about Claire and her ministry. I can't remember. Oh, the Kelowna Church, yes, thank you. The Kelowna, we mustn't leave out the Kelowna Church because they have a group of ladies who also are involved in quilt making. And they generally make the quilts that go into the Bags of Love. And Claire's quilts, Claire and team, her quilts are given as gifts, or let's say a new family comes, or a new pastor comes, or a new baby arrives in the church. We always give a gift from iServe. Is there anything else I'm missing, ladies, from the iServe, from the quilting part? Anyways, it really is a beautiful ministry. Let's see, Joan, I think I'm going to let you come up and, why don't you come up and you can tell us about maybe our handicraft sale. Oh my, I just feel so bad that you're not seeing these nice pictures because that really, it prompts us as to what we want to share with you.
Here you go.
That's us. We look like a slide. Stand still, Joan.
Oh,
Don't
terrible.
we look
I'm
like a
out
slide?
of here. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Don't look up there, okay? Okay.
Oh, that threw me for a loop. Oh. Okay, if I can get myself together. So this past November, December, we had our first ever handicraft sale, which netted about $1,500 for various iServe products, times 3.
Oh, no, don't look at that.
No, okay.
Slides, 3
Yeah.
slides.
So that was a good thing because we needed the money because we have to rent the trucks to take the furniture around.
Yeah.
We go and get it from the home, and then we take it to here, and then we take it back over to the refugees. It's quite a thing, so we use a lot of trucks.
Yeah, we used to depend on members in the church, and it was always the senior members who had pickups or who had the time. And thanks to Ralph, we made many, many moves with a pickup truck. But you know, as our outreach to the refugees has grown, we can hardly depend on 1 or 2 trucks pickup trucks, so we just hire a U-Haul. And then we can put everything in one load and take it to wherever it's needed. So we've done that a lot. Sorry? Oh, can you hear? Yeah, now you can hear me. Anyways, thanks to Ralph and others who have been very generous with their trucks and their time.
Okay. So we've held open houses for refugee moms. When we get enough clothing and things that come in, we can lay them out and invite the refugee moms to come in and select clothing. We've had a wonderful time with that. Their kids are beautiful. I fall in love with every one of them. And then Donna, she's got a great big heart, it's huge, and she gives the little girls dollies, and they're just so happy. You see them running out to their car to put that dolly in so no one else gets it. And Pastor Art, he is on the floor with the little boys and showing them how to use Lego. I thought it was a beautiful picture just to see him down there on his knees with those children. So, yeah.
Ruthie, why don't you come up now? Now, we had a really good picture of Ruthie. Come on up. We had a really good picture of Ruthie behind 3 sewing machines. And really, that should be Ken Treff's picture up there. Because, you know, I bet you didn't know this, but he is a really good thrift store shopper. He loves to do it. And he helps iServe that way. So for a time, every time he'd see a good deal with sewing machines, he'd buy it and pass it on to us. Come on, Ruthie. And then we would give these out to the refugee moms. We gave out, I'm going to say 10, at least 8 or 9 or 10 sewing machines. And our plan was to hold sewing classes, but then COVID came along and we weren't able to do that. But those moms really treasure those sewing machines. It was a nice thing we could do. And Ruthie, tell us what do you do for iServe? You don't just come and look pretty. I know that. You are pretty, but well, just you do the bags and you do the little. Ruthie's shy, but she does a lot for iServe. I know she does a lot. Like almost every week, she's bringing in a bundle. What are you bringing in, Ruthie? What kinds of things?
Well, I make the bags for the babies and for the older children. Mostly that's what we're referring to. And then, of course, for the babies, we also make blankets. I don't know. I can't speak into the mic and still.
That's all right. That's okay. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to show you some samples. Ken, again, the shopper that he is, he's always finding flannel. He's always finding really nice material. And then Ruthie, she finishes them off. And if you look in our cupboard, you would be amazed at the things that Ruthie does. She is, I have to say, amazing. You are, Ruthie. And so she makes the little baby bundles, always in kid-friendly material. These are the little ones for the bundles. Then she makes the big bags for the older children. And and those are filled and overflowing. That's not even one of the real big ones. So she keeps us supplied with bags and bundles and the receiving blankets and what else?
The blankets are the hardest to find the fabric for.
Yes, blankets. Yeah. But Ken, keep going. Keep doing your work. So she stitches them all or serges them all, and they're really very, very nice. And in the pocket with each bag or each bundle, we do have a little note telling them who the bundle is for. We encourage them now. They've received a kindness, now to pass that kindness on to somebody else or to a child in need. And Ruthie, thank you. Your work is invaluable. Yeah.
I just want to tell you that I did bring along a sheet which has the dimensions for all the bags, because I was in hopes that someone might be interested. and might be willing to sort of try it. It can be fun. We live quite close to Value Village, and that's fortunate because the particular one that we live close to has just reams of fabric. And so all of the fabric that I use, almost 100% comes from there. Otherwise, it could, you couldn't buy a fabric at a fabric store and really make it financially feasible. So I guess that's about what there is to say. I try and find fabric that the kids would like. I'm kind of a kid person, and I like to think that they'll be happy with the bag when they get it.
They are. Thank you, Ruthie. Really appreciate that. Joan, why don't you come and tell about the ADRA truck, okay?
Terrible.
Stefan, you're making us nervous. Could you turn this picture off? What could be better? Oh, are you getting us? Not quite.
Oh, that's
Well,
better.
okay, that's one.
That's a whole lot better.
I had 35 slides, but one is better than none. Okay, there we go. That's our group. Some are missing. Marie is
hey.
not there. So that's basically our group pre-COVID, because of course we haven't been meeting as a group, but this was just before COVID.
Here you have a clicker.
Sir, I don't have a clicker. Okay, maybe we'll just move along.
I'm pointing the camera to the computer.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's good.
You're a miracle man.
Oh,
Okay, that'll do.
let me see if I can, otherwise I'm gonna click through.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we'll keep talking, and then we'll, if we have time, we'll go through. Tell about the ADRA truck.
Okay, last summer we had the fire and in Lytton. And so we had quite a lot of furniture downstairs in the old fellowship room. And so we got a 30-foot commercial truck, and we loaded that thing right to the brim and just got the door shut. So
I'm going
Yeah.
to just comment on these now.
yeah, go
Then
ahead.
we'll get the pictures. Oh, these are the Kelowna ladies who are so generous with their time and so on, and they make a lot of the quilts for the bags. Now, I can't see here, so some more of Claire's quilts. I'll go through these quickly if that's okay. These are the ladies from the ministry who have requested quilts for the adoptive families. This was our fundraiser last December. Wish you could have all been there and picked up a nice little memento. Oh, yeah, there's another one. Okay, there's John in the back. John, see your picture there, wherever you are? Oh, there you are. Okay, these were some of the mums. I'm jumping here now. These were some of the refugee mums. This was sort of at the beginning before we really concentrated on reaching the refugees, but some of the mums came with their families. Here's Ruthie, lovely Ruthie with the sewing machines. Ken, she should be up here. And these are some of the ladies who received the sewing machines. Ferial and Kifa. This is the group. Now, Joan was just telling you about the ADRA group. This is the group that came out to load the truck. This was a big truck. This was like a 30-foot commercial truck that ADRA sent down to Kelowna. And just about that time, Thelma was going into like an independent living or assisted living, I guess. And so she gave furniture and other people gave furniture. We didn't even have to make a call in the church. We got so much stuff. We filled that truck. I don't think there were it was 2 inches at the top. So this was all the stuff. And our senior men, wow, Dieter, you were a part of that group. There were some of the fellows. Okay, we'll stop there, okay? Anyways, Adra was very thankful. And of course, they had a big warehouse. So and Marjorie and John, I think, were helping at that end. We were loading at this end, and they were at the other end unloading. So we were able to support the Lytton fire victims, which was nice. In Coldstream. In Coldstream, sorry. Okay, now here, not many years ago, a new mosque was built, just down the road, or just across the street, actually, and down a little bit. And now here were some great opportunities for us to reach out in friendship to these neighbors of ours. And I think it was about this time that we felt inspired to begin a work for the refugees. This was something that was on my mind. I know it was the Holy Spirit saying, do something for the refugees in your midst. We're next door to a mosque, the only mosque in the entire Okanagan. And so this just wouldn't leave my thinking. Anyways, an opportunity came when the mosque had their grand opening. We thought, what could we do as a church? And of course, we were thinking of iServe, an outreach from iServe. And so we got a large, you'll have to turn that. I don't think I can control it here. We got a large picture, framed picture in Arabic, some quotations, not about Muhammad, about God, about Allah. And so we purchased this large picture. We had a little plaque made on the bottom that said, this is from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Rutland Seventh-day Adventist Church. And they hung that picture right in their main meeting room. And they were very grateful. It was a nice opportunity. About that time, too, the Rutland Church gave permission for them to use our parking lot for overflow parking. So that was another connection we had. And then when it came time to Ramadan, which is the 1-month period when Muslims fast, they don't eat during the day, they make up for it at night, but we prepared large trays of dates, nuts, some different biscuits and so on, of dried fruit and so on, and we took that over to them on a Friday when they were meeting at the mosque. It was the end of Ramadan, so now they were, had resumed eating again, and we gave that to them and they passed it out among their members. They were very appreciative. And so that was kind of the start of our ministry to refugee families. And about that time, then we approached Kelowna Community Resources because they had a department that dealt with these refugee families. A couple of the social workers were Arabic speaking, and so we asked, what can we do? Is there something that we can do to help you, to help these families? Well, they were very grateful. They said, yes, you can help. And so they started asking us to help with furniture, household items, bedding, and we were able to respond. I don't know, the things came in at just the time we needed them. It was amazing. It was like God was saying, yes, this is a good thing you're doing. And the things would come in here, and we'd give them out here. And family after family came. Not only Syrian families, they were mostly Syrian families, but we had several from Sudan, several Sudanese families. We had one from Afghanistan. Joan, remember we went there? Afghanistan, Turkey. I think there was one from Iraq. I don't know how many families we've helped. A lot. Because we have personally, because Dwight and I were overseas, and you kind of have an understanding of Middle Eastern culture, and so it was easy for us, and we enjoyed. This is where we get our high. And maybe some of you remember, this was before COVID. Now let's see if I can. Oh, we're going too fast. This is way ahead. Yeah, don't go too fast. Can we back up? Sorry, I don't want to make you hungry. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just before COVID, we invited, I thought, well, we'll ask these people if they'll come to church. I don't know if any of you remember that. We had them sitting up here. There were about 4 families, and they all agreed to come. They couldn't speak very much in those days because they, were fairly new to Canada, but they came, brought their children or some of their children, and we asked them about their experience, what it was like, fleeing for your life, really. We're seeing pictures of Ukraine now. Well, that's what Syria was like. It was sad. And so they left their homes behind, and they didn't come directly to Canada, but they would go to other countries like Lebanon, some went to Jordan, Turkey, whatever, and they'd sit there until they were sponsored. And sometimes these families waited 7 years. Several of these families waited 7 years. In the meantime, they're living in refugee camps. It's a hard life. Babies are born, people die. So they really had a hard time. But these families came, and we're personal friends with all of them. They're beautiful people. Here's Dalal and Medhat. Here's another family, 2 families here. Okay, let me see if I want to talk about. Anyways, there's so many stories we could tell about each of these families. They all have a story to tell. But they are all so appreciative. Don't think that they just accept and accept and accept. No, they're so appreciative. They're dependent on Canadians to help them get established. So, and really it's a privilege. It's a privilege for us to minister to these people. God has given us this privilege. That's really what it is. So here I'm just going to show you a few of the Syrian families. Also you have to consider we may be welcoming refugees from the Ukraine before long. We don't know what's going to happen there, but we have to be ready for that. Anyways, here is, back up one more, Stefan. One more, back. Okay, now we can go ahead. This next picture is of Nader and Kifa. They came. It was just at the beginning of winter, and they had 10 children. 10 children, and of course they needed winter clothes. KCR, of course, provides a lot of that, but we were able to help them with a lot of furniture, and this family is actually quite amazing. See that young fellow? Now this is a few years ago. He's in grade 12 now. This is just an example. He got a job, learned a little bit of English, got a job at IGA, worked, I think, 2 or 3 jobs, and saved his money. Before long, he had an electric scooter. And it wasn't long after that, and he had a BMW, a used BMW. Did his parents help him? No way. They couldn't help him. They have 10 children. But he worked so hard. And in the meantime, he's studying grade 12. And now if you could see him now, you'd say, wow, that's a handsome guy. Tall and handsome. He delivers for DoorDash and skip the dishes, continuing to earn money because he hopes to marry a young Syrian girl one day. He has a cousin back in Syria that he is hoping to marry. And so they're go-getters. He's a good example of a go-getter, and the parents as well. We were teaching them. Dwight would go over and help the parents with English. They had classes, but it's hard to do homework when you're not familiar with English. So we stuck with this family for a long time, and still do. 10 children. You know how many birthdays that is? There's a lot of birthdays. And we're invited to most of them. There's always a birthday celebration going on with balloons and noise. And okay, let's go on, Stefan. This is the rest of that was the rest of the 10 children. There's 10 children altogether. The youngest now is about 5. This is another family. This is such an interesting family, Farid and Neriman, and they had 4 little girls. And the parents, we had helped the parents. They were part of that group that was up here on the stage. Anyways, just recently, well, I'm sure it happened some time ago, that they decided as a family, they have other children in the States and in Germany, and so they decided to sponsor the daughter, Neriman. She was in Jordan. She and her husband had been there for 9 years. The children had all been born there. The mother and father, who live here just across the street from us, they hadn't seen their daughter, their family, for 9 years. 9 years not seen, now they were, with technology, they could do FaceTime and so on, but these 4 little girls, they had never met them. And so this family came, and the parents, of course, came to us, please, can you help us? They have no help, no government help. So we said, sure, we can help. Where will the furniture come from? I don't know. God would provide. I knew that. Would you believe that just a week, maybe 2 weeks before they were arriving here in Canada, in Kelowna, from Jordan, there was a lady, I found out a lady was an elderly lady over in Glenmore, close to you, Dieter, and she was moving into an assisted living. She had a big house, her husband had just died, and she told the lady that cleaned her place, do you know anybody who could use this furniture? Yeah, I know. So Lisa McCrory contacted me, and I said, sure, we'll take the furniture. It was beautiful furniture. In fact, it was so ornate. It was a German lady. It was so ornate, I don't think any Canadian or American would have appreciated it. But a Syrian family, wow. So we got a U-Haul, a big U-Haul. We loaded that place. Joan and Dieter will remember this, because we loaded this furniture into this truck. We even had a pickup truck besides. Loaded it full of everything you could imagine, bedding, dishes, everything. We drove it directly to the house, where the apartment that the parents had rented for them, just a few blocks over, and filled that house. 4 little girls, all had a bed, bunk beds, whatever. We even had somebody not from that home, but somebody had just donated a big king-size bed, no less. I thought, how are you going to get a king-size bed, up the stairs, and it's going to be hard? I can't believe those rooms were so big. This king-size bed fit in there, and there was room to spare. Now, how do you get that up? It was a nice home. And, the stairway is narrow. How do you get it up there? No problem. Joan is laughing because this actually happened. We backed up the U-Haul right under the balcony. They were up on the 2nd floor. And 2 fellows up on top, 2 fellows down below, and they hoisted that furniture up over the balcony railing, and their house was outfitted from top to bottom. Beautiful bedding, beautiful dishes. They had everything they needed. That was such a joy. Now this family has we've become very good friends with this family. They've had us, and Stefan, are you still there? Yeah, one more. They have invited us 2, maybe 3 times now for meals. Middle Eastern food. If you like Middle Eastern food, this was good food. This was good food. They were so grateful. And, I'll just toss this in because it's rather interesting. One time when they had us over, they had 2 other Christian families over. Now, these are all Muslim people. I would say strong Muslim people. The parents who live close by, the mother prays faithfully 5 times a day. And she's always coming over with food for us, and especially, when we weren't well and so on. But I was going to say something else. I can't remember now. Anyways, I can't remember. But that was one example of a very rewarding experience. Very rewarding experience. Will they forget Christians? I don't think so. Do we ever talk about religion? Sometimes, not very often. We just keep doing good. We just keep loving them. And oh, yes, that's where, I'm sorry, that's where I was going. 2 other families that they had become acquainted with somehow. Not that they had helped them so much, but they had become friends, so they had us all over together. Well, this one Christian family, they attend Bible Community Church in the German hall, nearby, and Nancy and Dawn, and we just hit it off. And since then, we've been over, as a group, we've been over at the parents' place, and religion has come up. And this was just maybe 2 weeks ago, we had a really interesting discussion about Jesus, the divinity of Jesus, and so on, which we differ on, but they were listening. You never know what seeds are planted. And another family, I'm going to show you them as well. This is another family, Osama and Fauzia, and they arrived last fall. Another lovely family. Next one. Now this family, I don't like to say favorites, but we have become such good friends with this family. They're a lovely family. They arrived about 5 years ago. They had 6 children. Now they have 8. The 2 little boys were born since they've come to Canada. And we started out, they didn't know any English at all. We drove them to appointments. We did little things for them, took the kids to school, before they got settled. I taught some English. The mother, I don't think she had any education from Badra, in the middle there, maybe grade 3. So she said, I can't learn English. I can't. Too hard. It's impossible. But we persevered. I remember the first time she read a little story in the book. We had good English books from our overseas experience, and she read her first story. I said, Badra, do you see? You can do it. She was so excited. Since then, just to make the story short, she speaks English, not fluently, but she got her driver's license. She drives the kids to school. She's independent, beautiful children, always clean. Her food is wonderful. And then just recently, Ammar, the father, he's a really hard worker. He was holding down 3 jobs just to earn money. His brother came over 2 years ago. So together now they decided they want to sponsor a younger sister. She's married and has 3 or 4 children. And but the government quotas for bringing in refugees is full. You just can't. You have a waiting list 2, 3, 4 years. The brother is the sister is back in Syria and wants to get out so badly. It's such a hard life. Anyways, they have put their money together with these 3 jobs. You know how much it costs to bring a family over if you're doing it privately? $40,000. And they're bringing 2 nephews as well at $15,000 each. So you're looking at $70,000 to bring over that family. They're not depending on government. They can't. There's no money there. They're not depending on friends. They have earned that money. And of course, they'll ask some of their Syrian friends maybe, and get a little bit of, borrow some money, whatever. But they have raised that money. And they're not sponsoring through the government. They're sponsoring through the Mennonite Central Committee. And that means that one of the stipulations before you can submit an application is that you have to have a settlement team in place to help this family, when they come to Canada. There have to be some Canadians willing to help them and get them established, etc. So we had to come up. So we prevailed upon some missionary-minded people in the Rutland Church, and we have a group of 9 or 10 people who are willing to help this family. Now, will their application be accepted? We'll know in the next couple of weeks. They said before the end of March. So those of you who are involved, you know who you are, and we'll be getting together and have to decide how we're going to divvy up the responsibilities. But it was only natural they called us to help. we're desperate. We need this settlement team. And so that's the kind of friendship. We're their family. We're their Canadian family. It's so lovely. These are such lovely people. We have so much fun. You can imagine 8 children, all active and rambunctious, but they're all well-behaved and beautiful children. Beautiful children. Okay, I think I've talked on. Oh, there's one more. I have to tell you about this. Here, this one. Joan, you remember that? Do you want to tell, or Margaret? Okay, Colleen Hosick was moving into Sunpoint, into independent living, okay? And so she said, what am I going to do with my furniture? Give it to iServe. Correct me if I'm wrong here. So this was just a few weeks ago, less than a month ago, I think. We hired, of course, rented a U-Haul, and this time we had some seniors, but we also had some of the young. No, we're going too fast. We're going too fast. Okay, we had some of the young adults and we had some of the seniors, and we loaded Colleen's furniture into the U-Haul, and we took it to the latest family. This is the latest now. This was a Sudanese family, just a husband and wife and a little 7-month-old baby girl. And, okay, one more now. So this is the father on your left, the Sudanese man. And we took it in. He had an empty apartment just over here on McIntosh, close by, and we moved it right into their home. Were they happy? I'm going to well, next picture, Stefan. There's Colleen's furniture. Doesn't it look nice? The living room was set up, couches, lamp, end tables. And the next one, Stefan, the next one was the chair and a table and chairs. And there was a bed, and there was some dressers, and they were set up. Bedding galore, dishes galore, everything full. I haven't checked on them yet, but we'll pack up some things this week for the little baby and take it over to them. So, such a pleasure. These people are so grateful. Okay, I wonder if there's any more, if there's one. Oh, that's Hiba. This is the family that we've become very close with. This is the young girl. She just turned 14. Beautiful girl. She's wearing a hijab, but nobody's making her do that. She came to that on her own. She came to that decision. She wants to wear that now. She's of age, and she feels she has to, to be modest. And so she wears that, but she's a beautiful girl. Lovely, lovely girl. I think that is all. Let's see if I have any more remarks. Well, I could go on and on. There's so many heartwarming stories. Yeah, we're just a little after an hour, so it's not bad. But in summary, I would say that being the hands and feet of Jesus is an exciting and very rewarding venture. Each of these families, whether Christian or Muslim, whether from Syria or Sudan or Afghanistan, they're all children of God created in His image. And they're our brothers and sisters, and we're obliged to help them without discrimination. That's what Jesus would do, and that's what we want to do. And there will be a little article in the Messenger in April for if you want a few more details, you can read that.
On that last picture, there was let's say, Syrian family on the right side. Do they come out and help you with this?
Yeah, we've started that. Thank you. That's a good question. We've had some offers of Syrian families wanting to help us with some of these moves. We've had 3 now. 3. We have a fellow with a pickup truck, just lives here beside the mosque. And we've become acquainted with him. And then 2 others have said, if you ever need help, and ask us. So that's what we did here with this, with Colleen's furniture. They were Syrian family. They weren't Sudanese, but they're willing to help. And so, yes, they came and helped. Yeah.
Donna, was it the Colleen's furniture that we came over, and there was a car parked there, and these 2 men offered to help?
Maybe, I can't remember.
And they just come into town.
can't. Oh, yes. That was Antoine Flores when we came here to the church. Yes, and they said, "Oh, we'll help." Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, people are willing. There's lots of kind people in this world, beautiful people. So, with this limited slide presentation, that's sort of, there's much more we could say, but we can't tire everybody out. I could keep on going, so don't start me. Okay, thank you for coming out. Marie is going to come up and have prayer together. Forgive us for going over the hour, but it's not long over the hour, so yeah.
I have to add my 2 cents worth. I went to Marvell School of Aesthetics, you know, where they do your facial and your nails and all that. And I had this girl giving me a facial, and she was dressed like a Muslim, you know. And we started talking and so forth. And then I said, "Do you know Donna?" She said, "Who?" "Donna." "Donna? Yes, we know Donna. We love Donna." Okay. Remember? Yeah, that was awesome. So I noticed right away that she started giving me extra care. And I'm going to put another little plug in. We went to Orchard City today, and Candace Thorpe was preaching, and she talked about feet and shoes, where Peter had been told by an angel to put on his shoes. And so she got going on how we need to put on our shoes, and that's good too. Shoes and hands go together. So what was it? And then she started talking about the Ukraine, and she showed a picture of a young man. He was very young. I don't know if he was over 25. And he wanted to do his part for the people, and he somehow got a hold of a bus that held, 40 to 50 people, and he was busing people out to safety. And on the way back, he was bringing in supplies. And in no time, he had delivered 1,000 people over. And so, Candace was talking about Audra, and somehow Audra also got buses, and and now they're all working together doing all this busing and bringing in supplies and so forth. And one thing I thought that was really good about Audra is that it is registered in the Ukraine as a relief agency, whereas there may be other Protestant agencies, but they're not recognized and they're not registered. So this is really good to give to Audra, I think. And so she was raising a lot of money. But not only that, dear Candace, she got it into her head to put on a big program. And I think it's on tonight in their main theater. And work that usually takes months to prepare, she did in 1 week. She was able to find an artist that would do the program. And she said she was very lucky because all the artists are booked solid. And then she got Skuka girl, what's her name? Rachel. She'll be playing the anthem on her violin tonight, and the Ukrainian anthem, of course, which includes the words. We were not going to let anybody. We're not going to let anybody rule our nation. Like, it's a very powerful song. This is, I think, in Osuyus tonight. Is that right, Ralph? Oliver, okay. Apparently they have a huge thing. And she found this person that used to work for Lawrence Welk, of all things. And so this person knew how to get the advertising and the word and what to do and all that. So that's all happening tonight, a big fundraiser for that. It's amazing, I think. God works. Let's pray, please. Loving Father, I thank you so much for Donna and her group and the way Donna has seen this vision of hands and I serve, and they've just been going nonstop, and I thank you for that. Thank you for the blessings that the people receive with all the furniture and all the things. You're the master servant, Lord, and we thank you for that. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.